Welcome back, Smart Start Radio family. Before we get into our latest amazing episode, we have a quick word from our sponsor. With spectacular hotels, amazing theme parks, and unparalleled entertainment, Universal Orlando Resort offers a meeting destination unlike anything else in the world. We talk a lot about connection in this industry. We talk about bringing people together, creating meaningful experiences, and designing moments that stick. But what happens when someone in your own community is the one who needs support? Not as an attendee, not as a client, but as a person who is going through something real. That's where this conversation starts. Today, I'm super excited to let you know that today I'm being joined by Kate Patay, Vice President of Global Engagement at Terramar DMC and Chair of the Search Foundation, an organization dedicated to supporting events professionals in times of crisis. And full transparency, I may fangirl a little bit in this episode. Just a little. Clearly, I'm downplaying it, but you get the gist. Because Kate is one of those people you hear about in rooms before you even meet her. Which is true for me. And somehow she still lives up to the hype. You'll see why in just a second on Smart Start Radio.
Smart Start Radio, Smart Start Radio. Ready, set, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. Smart Start Radio, Smart Start Radio. Ready, say, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. Starting smart is the action we design. Meeting of the minds, how to better use our time. Leading, interceding, proceeding, they divine. It's believing, they conceding, so it goes on over time.
Smart Start Radio, I am so excited to have on the show Kate Patay. She is basically a celebrity within our industry. At least I feel that way because I hear so much about her and I'm like, Kate Patay's going to be here? I'm like, oh my God, do I look okay? She's basically famous. And well, in my world, you are. So I'm really excited that you're here. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Can you kind of give us a little rundown on yourself?
Oh my goodness. Making me talk about me. I love talking about everything else on this. I don't know how to follow up that intro. Oh my goodness. Okay. So my day job, I guess we would say, I'm the Vice President of Global Engagement with Terramar DMC. So just meaning that across Latin America, the United States, I engage not only clients and our teams, but the media and PR side. And just I love working and doing that as my full-time job. I think when you're excited to go to work every day, that shows. And Terramar is also a wonderful supporter of me in my role with the Search Foundation, which it's currently the chairperson. I'm on my third term as chair.
Oh, wow. So congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. We just, we reelected a new board in October. Right about the time of IMEC. And they're 3-year commitment. So I'm in this one for 10 years as chair. And it's so cool to me. One, that a company supports me in doing this, but two, that we have a resource like the Search Foundation out there. It's so near to my heart.
Yeah. For people who are newer to the industry and don't know about Search, can you kind of explain a little bit about what you guys do?
Yes. So Search it's the only 501c3 in our industry dedicated to crisis relief for individuals. So we have a lot of foundations, a lot of associations that are out there. Search is the only one that directly funds individuals when there's a crisis. So whether that's a personal crisis, if you get a terrible medical diagnosis, if you're in an accident, or if you're a victim of a catastrophic occurrence like a hurricane, wildfire, or a flood, you can apply directly for funding from Search Foundation.
That's really cool. So the premise of this conversation is because we are doing a whole topic on CSR. And when I was talking with JT, my boss, about like who might be a good person, you were literally at the top of her list. And I was like, oh yeah, Kate. Obviously. That makes perfect sense. So,
I adore her.
Well, we adore you. Even though, like I said at the start, we never actually formally met before, but I feel like I know a lot about you just from hearing such great things about you from other people. So I'm really excited.
That's our industry as a whole. We're all 1 degree of separation because I've heard your name in rooms throughout meeting.
Wow, really?
Smart meetings and just how much, oh my gosh, between JT, Luke, your whole team, how you support Search Foundation is absolutely priceless. So I love putting faces to names too because I feel like I see them come across and I hear everyone talked about. So to be able to connect one-on-one, I think is just it's magical. It is.
Yeah, it truly is. But the work you do is also very magical in its own way. So when you talk and work in like the CSR spectrum of things, like in this industry, what are some things that you personally are seeing right now that are like, top of mind, especially with the holidays and the start of the new year?
I come at it from a couple different perspectives because we help to do a lot of CSR through our everyday work. And then being on a board with Search, I also come across that as an option. So I think it's always an interesting combination and finding ways to make them work for the different, for companies, for attendees to create that engagement. I think the biggest piece right now is seeing something that's authentic to one mission that you're in, but two, type of event and industry that you're part of. So, like in Mexico, for instance, we have large amounts of gifting that we do down that way, give back. So within just including that, it's a CSR moment because it's designed from local artisans. We focus heavily on women who are trying to support their families without help. And every single piece has some kind of tie to the communities. And then if you get into the deeper side of CSR and hands-on and building and giving back, we always make sure that it's something local. Because one, if you're traveling for an event, you want to make sure that you're connecting to that destination that you're in, that you're taking care of it in some way. When you're doing something for the local community, you create that memory, but you're being sustainable at the same time. You don't want to send stuff across miles and try to ship everything. There's so many pieces that go into it to be thoughtful with your give back. If you're going to show up, how do you make an impact where you are? And it's also a ton of fun. We've been doing it recently. We have that give back, but I think people are really interested in these boundaries and taking care of themselves and having personal time, and planners have gotten so good with balancing agendas in a really thoughtful way. So the Search Fund is thing with that side. So people can have the option of, you can pack backpacks, you can put together toilets, you can do all of these things that give back to a community, and also opt out and make a donation and give yourself maybe some or time to go explore in a destination, which I think is it's unique. We haven't seen that in the past, that people are given the opportunity. Do you want to be here and be part of this? Or would you like to support something monetarily and buy yourself a day at the pool? It could really go either way.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because like I feel like this is more recent. Like I'm seeing this more like when you're being more intentional with this action versus like, oh, I just want to look a certain way because it makes me look good because I'm giving back. But to what extent are you actually doing that? So I'm just kind of curious, like, as you've kind of seen things like evolve, like, are you seeing like events being more intentional in that respect? Like being like, yes, if you're going to come here, but like also think about the space that you're in, like what needs help, how can you leave this place in a way that's
better than you found it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's our goal, I think, all of the time.
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing, your goal should always be to leave something better than you found it. It's understanding too what's needed. I've learned that a lot with Search Foundation, and I've had people approach me over the years. I learned about Search first in 2010. It's been around for over 30 years, giving back. Fully funded by our industry. So that's individuals, companies that are donating. And we've already distributed over 1.5 million into the industry on that side. But a lot of times people don't realize, don't send things. And I a better way to say that, but I'll use the fires that were in Los Angeles in January 2025 as the example, is started reaching out saying, can we send you everything from diapers to, water and everything in between? And what people don't realize is when there's a catastrophic incident or loss like that, you don't want more people going in. People are trying to get out. That would, on our side at least, we don't want a hindrance or clog up relief efforts or try to somewhere that has a structure in place for exit, for recovery, for just mitigating all of those. So that's why it stayed strictly fund-based. There's organizations that exist that do that. Those are what your Red Crosses, whatever that looks like. So to be thoughtful and say, okay, I can help an individual that needs it. And when people send us cases, apply for these grants, first off, they're done anonymously. So we never put your name unless you as a human say, I want testimonial. I'm happy to share my information. We don't just share that information freely. The people that have reached out though, and they're like, I need a plane ticket I'm in Jamaica and I have to leave and I have no way to leave and nowhere to go. I need a flight. I need a hotel room. I need, something for my children to be able to mortgage this month. It all looks so different. And that's just one way that it's going to an individual that's been vetted and truly needs those dollars in that moment.
One thing I wanted to ask is, who do you guys work with in terms of like when things do happen? Like, do you have like different orgs that you like operate with that kind of help you in this process? Or is it mostly just in your own little space?
It is all currently internal. We do have a lot of associations that will reach out and make donations when something very specific happens. But we have on our crisis relief team, it's a multi-pronged approach to whenever there's a major disaster.
Of course.
I mean, we get throughout the year, every week we're getting cases that come in, but a big loss that's affecting a lot of people. Jamaica was just one of those examples because we do fund worldwide. But when the hurt just hit, we had our team, there's one piece of crisis relief that goes in and all they do is identify which organizations are, like government-based that can help, what are state, and then what are other vetted organizations to that community that can assist. Pile all of those resources and we share that with every single person that applies. So even if they're just reaching out saying, hey, do I qualify? What can I do? And help to figure that out. But we'll also send them that resource list and that goes to the front page of our website. So if you look, you'll see like wildfire, you'll see flood, you'll see hurricane. So that, it's not just like we're the crisis in the moment. Like I need something right now. This is horrific. But then those links and that team actually clicks through every single one because some of those can be cumbersome. You try to go to a website and find where you actually have the form and it's 17 clicks later. So that team's actually compiling it and finding where that real form is. So it's useful to those individuals because they're going to need help above and beyond what search does.
Of course. Yeah. So obviously you guys like for like when there's like a big horrific thing that happens and you guys kind of help out, step in, but is there other levels of like support that you guys offer outside of that? Or how does that usually look like?
A lot of what we get that comes across is there's a lot of illness. And that was actually kind of what sparked me to run again for this chairperson role. I have coming off of the last 6 years of chairing and I feel like we're in a good place and we have a lot of really strong allies in this industry. Yeah. And I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So it became very personal to me. And I was fortunate to be in a spot that I did not need to rely on search. I have a really good CNET. Not everybody does. And so we get a lot of cases or people that have fallen ill or been in there was an individual, he's a driver for an AV company and he his eyesight in a car accident. I mean, you read some of these and the way they tug at your heartstrings and there's catastrophe every day, sadly. I think that helps to make me as grateful of a person as I am because I see the really bad side of it. So to be doing something to try and help, even if it's a small amount, I mean, every bit counts. We've got students right now and people that are in college and coming into the industry that give on a monthly basis. It's like $5 or $10 because that's all they can afford, but it all does difference. That all goes right back to the industry that they're trying so hard to break into right now.
For people who are new to the industry and don't know about search, what's something that you feel like you want them to like know about you guys that maybe isn't like as talked about as usual?
I do one of the fun ones. This one makes me laugh. People think I'm yelling at them when I email you about Search Foundation because it's in all caps. It's actually an acronym. It started as Special Event Assistance, Relief, and Crisis Help. So search actually stands for something. I'm not just...
I think I knew that.
Every time I type it, but I'll see people like, are you mad at me? And I'm like, no, it's an acronym. That's why it's in caps.
Wait, people actually ask you that when you email them?
I have been asked.
That's fascinating.
They'll reply back and purposely put it lowercase, and I have to nicely say, okay, I put Brandon Burley at my heart. So I'm like, can we put that back to all caps in this?
That's really interesting. Okay.
Funny piece of what can be a very sad thing that we do. I love seeing our community come together, though. I think that's one of the pieces. Search started as a grassroots movement. It was at the height of the AIDS epidemic, and we didn't know our friends were dying and they were sick. And it was people who just genuinely wanted to help other industry professionals. And the way it organized and rallied, so we applied for the 501c3 in the early 90s. We claim our official date as early 1997 because that's when we finished website and paperwork and just all those little things you need to be official at that point. And it was at that time, it was just for illness and people that were sick. And then in 2005, when Hurricane Katrina hit, a lot of professionals had reached out and they were like, we're devastated. We don't know how to recover. We know that you support, but it was only illness at the time. And so in 2005, we changed our bylaws. So it's any catastrophic loss. So that's how it now is all encompassing. So accidents, illness, those natural disasters. It was unique. Interestingly enough, during COVID, we were sitting at a board table 2 days before the pandemic was declared, having a board retreat and seeing this coming, all of us in events, knowing that something really bad is happening in March of 2020. And we prepared for this influx of cases for people. And what we saw instead was an influx of giving of that said, I'm fortunate, I can weather this storm. There's a lot of people who won't be able to. And the way that it went against everything that in my mind, I kind of forecasted or predicted. And we were just ready to be like, okay, we're about to get hit with all of these cases. And we got hit with an overwhelming amount of people saying, how do I help? Can I volunteer? Can I do more? And that was something I had never expected. And it
that's big. I am curious though, because like we live in a very strange time right now in general. And like, it's people are struggling. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm kind of curious, are you seeing people more open to CSR or less open? Like where do you feel like people live in terms of like the spectrum of like giving? Because I know it's especially like, things are rougher than usual. So how is that looking right now, forecast wise?
Wasn't the understatement of the year.
I mean,
we laugh but we don't cry.
Exactly.
I think people are being a little more cautious as to where they're donating both their time and their things. They're being better vetted. And I love that for us. It should matter. And people are being selective about where they're donating and involving themselves, their companies. And, something we should have been doing all along, but this is really bringing forth a time of reflection for individuals and what means something to me. And that's what we're seeing, the continued giving programs and people that are incorporating this giving as part of their core culture of the company is it's big. I mean, I've been fortunate to have friends like Smart Meetings that have been supporting for years and always said that this means something to us. We care about our industry. We want to support in any way, but we're seeing so many more people that have that authentic approach to it of what matters. I want to see where my dollars go, and they get that with this. So people that have become involved, I feel like they're in. They're never going to leave. That they see exactly how it's affecting individuals. So it's a really great spot to just navigate and watch over, the last 15 years where it's grown to.
Looking for a way to add some swagger to your meeting? Hold it in Dallas. You'll find 20 plus diverse neighborhoods bustling with entertainment, art, and chef's kiss worthy food. Not to mention the world's best icebreaker, the famous Margarita Mile. Whether it's a Michelin Guide recognized chef's table for 10 or seats at a big game for 1,000, Dallas is a playground for networking, team bonding, and after the meeting memorable moments. At its heart, you'll find a vibrant, walkable arts district voted #1 in America. Drop into downtown's historic Deep Ellum neighborhood for a show or take the team and the energy to the next level atop of Uptown's stylish rooftops. Get the creative juices flowing in the colorful Bishop Arts District or any of the lower Greensville trendy hotspots. Want to energize your attendees with just the right amount of that legendary Dallas swagger? Start planning your meeting at visitdallas.com. And now, back to our show. Yeah. So this episode is being recorded in 2025, but this will be out in 2026. So for what's coming up with Search, is there anything that you'd like to share with us that would be, worth, mentioning?
Well, we have a new board, so that announcement will be out in early January. And I'm
Nice.
so excited for the individuals that step forward and are part of this and committing to these 3-year terms. It's pretty amazing. There's going to be our annual signature event that we do in Los Angeles on March 4th. So we have that event. There's a handful that we do throughout the year with different associations and organizations. We're seeing a lot of what we call an affiliate event. So that's if you have an organization or you host a company event, whatever that looks like. But if you're hosting something, that you have that give back moment within it. And the response to those has been overwhelming. Our event committee has had to expand and create different subcommittees just to be part of each of those, because so many associations are saying, we want to help, we want to do more. So I think that's a big piece is if it's something that's already existing, you don't need to recreate the wheel. We've got resources to just make this a component of what you're doing. And, if you're in Los Angeles and you want to come to our annual signature event, it's the largest one we do every year.
Nice.
It's destinations on an annual basis. And it's our big thank you. I mean, what we do, like I said, when you look at these testimonials, when you look at who we've helped and how we've helped, it really, I've expanded a few times our crisis relief committee, because what they have to read is it puts you in such a headspace that I would never want to be overwhelmed with sadness. So we kind of spread that out a little with them.
Yeah.
So our signature event, it's a celebration instead. We want to find like, good, we're celebrating because we're helping so many people. But the core that's tough.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it must be really kind of like seeing all the cases of like people who like need help must be kind of like, whew, like I would be a little oof, but it seems like you guys really balance it out, like, because you're really like working to like offset that in a sense that it probably gives you a lot of better feelings about that once you actually, the action of what you're involved in.
It does. And you have to find that good side of everything. We do everything through applying, making sure that you're vetted, you're part of this industry. It's fairly stringent on that side of it. And then it goes anonymously and gets graded on a rubric by the crisis team. And we do turn things over very quickly because when someone's applying, they need help. So within 10 days that we fund cases, our internal goal is to everything within 72 hours. I've been on the board of directors. I've only seen 2 cases take 48 hours. Like, this team is so dedicated and they understand what that looks like. And it's rare that it happens, but, people will reach out to me occasionally and ask, what do I qualify? How do I help? What can I do? And I had a call and it just, sitting at the dinner table with my husband, and it's a number that I'm not sure of, but I'm like, pick this one up because it doesn't say scam. And it was, I should be so careful.
Those do happen a lot, to be fair. There are a lot of scam calls out there. You're not wrong.
Our phones are so much better at like scam likely, and 99% of the time it's right. But it was a call, and for some reason usually I don't answer my phone during dinner, but I looked at my husband and I was like, I'm going to grab this. And he just said, okay. And it was a woman who was reaching out because she's a victim of domestic violence and she was escaping that. And she found herself in a spot just in her car in tears with nowhere to go and wanting to shield her kids from having to see what was about to happen. And, having to hear that and sit with her in that space. I can't imagine how much she was hurting at the time. And it just hurt my heart in such a way. And, when I saw that case come through and the reports of the details of the domestic violence and what that looked like to her, it's horrific. I'm grateful that we have the team we do that can read those cases, can turn them around. They will drop what they're doing to turn these back and just get these people funded. And when those calls come through,
it's heavy. It's a lot. You clearly have a huge heart to be able to grief and sadness and stuff that, aren't as bright and shiny as our industry is. Like, that's really hard to take on. And honestly, bravo for you and Search to be able to do that, because that's really hard. That's hard. It's hard work.
It's hard work, and it's so rewarding at the same time. Like I said, this is what has made me as grateful of a person as I am. I know you had such flattering things to say at the beginning, and I I'm very appreciative. You're making me blush. You can't tell because I have a little bit of powder on, so I'm not super shiny today, but I'm blushing under here. I wouldn't say that I've always been the most compassionate. I don't know. It's not always been at my core that I'm going to lead with it, but I've grown into that person over the years. And a lot of it has to do with Search Foundation. You know, we all putting somewhere along the way. And I've always cared.
Right.
I've always wanted to take care of people.
Yeah,
but when you see this magnitude and you're exposed to that, it just opens up a side of compassion. And I've heard people say, like, are you really that generous? And I was like, if you read half I did, I would be a monster if I wasn't this generous because it exists in the world and what people go through. Like, I feel like that's my missions in life. I'm not sitting here for any other reason than to take care of as many people as I can because I've seen it firsthand. And if I can help one person, that's my job.
You're a superhero. You're an everyday superhero.
Not all of us wear capes. Some wear high heels.
No. This is true. This is really true. One thing I do want to ask you is for the future, for yourself or for Search or for the act of giving, what do you hope happens in the industry that makes CSR even more active and just there in general?
I hope everyone realizes it's bigger than just them. I think that was my biggest eye opener. There's a lot that it's out there and, you know, we're not working against each other in any way. This is for all of us. So I think that would be the one thing is that any association or foundation or someone that's out there realizes that this is something for all of us. And there's a seat at the table for all of us to actively support the industry. And I really hope that that's what we see as the next step is the associations, the organizations, people that don't yet have this, you know, component giving that I hope they don't have to ever learn it because it's something that they've experienced. I hope they hear the words of someone. I hope they see how it helps and that they realize that we can all do this better, stronger together. We're all here to support and we each have a different lane that we stay in and what we do. And I'd love to see us all together even more and just that this becomes the norm, that this is the standard of, you know, when you're registering for a conference or an event that's part of the industry, that there's a separate line that just says, would you like a portion of the proceeds to go to Search or would you like to add a donation to the Search Foundation? Our very first conference that had added Search as a line item to it, it was asked, would you like to give $1? That was what it was. It was giving $1. And just from that first conference, it was like $1,100 that got raised.
Wow.
It matters. Even
That's
though
impressive. Yeah.
that would be my hope, is that more people say, you know what? It is helpful. I can do that. This small piece, this little pebble, it's going to create a tidal wave of impact.
Nice. Is there anything that I didn't, we discussed a lot of things, but is there anything that I didn't ask you that you feel is relevant to this particular conversation?
Ooh, what is your hope for 2026? What would you like?
Turning the tables back on me. I'm not used to answering questions on the show. What do I hope? I hope that the industry thrives in general. I hope giving back is a thing that we do without having to think about it. We just do it. And it's like, you know, on any given day, someone's having a worse day than me, most likely. So it's always good to have that thought in your head whenever you're in a space where people are like, hey, this needs help. Yes, I can't afford to give X, Y, and Z to kind of, you know, give back to something that is bigger than myself.
I love that. We're going to do this together. We should have a check-in. We can do like a happy year or we'll do a recap of 2026.
Yeah, we should. Definitely. I would love to have you back on the show if you ever want to talk more about this or anything else that you have any joy in. I would be more than happy to have you back.
I love that. Well, I'm excited to hear this conversation go live. I'm so glad we're officially connected now.
Me too.
I'll be down.
Thank you, Kate, so much for being here.
So I'm going to come visit the Smart Movements offices.
Yes, you should. I feel like that should definitely happen in 2026.
Yes,
I'm going to manifest that for you.
I'll make sure it's on your calendar too. Thank you for me.
Thank you so much, and thank you to our Smart Start listeners. And we'll see you guys next time.
Smart Star Radio, Smart Star Radio. Ready, Ready, set, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. A small start radio. Small start radio. Ready, set, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. Starting smart is the action we design. Meeting of the minds, how to better use our time. Leading, interceding, proceeding, they divine. It's believing, they conceding, so it goes on all the time.
You've been listening to Smart Start Radio, a Smart Meetings production. Interested in being our next guest? Connect with us at editor@smartmeetings.com.